Hey there, so today I'm gonna share with you guys my suicide story. It's probably gonna be the hardest thing I've talked about so far because it touches you so deeply. I had never committed suicide, but I was very, very suicidal for 16 years, and I'm about to share that experience with you guys. After the first time I had cancer, which was when I was born, my father almost like left me. He used to be a really good father. And then somehow, for some reason, he just left me, and he not like not physically. I mean, he didn't. He more like emotionally and physically. I mean, he was still there, but he wasn't hugging me. He wasn't loving me. He wasn't spending time with me. And in kindergarten, I was being bullied because I had encopresis, which is a bowel thing when you can't feel you have to go to the bathroom. And they always thought that it was my fault when it wasn't even my fault. And then I was being verbally abused at home. My dad would scream and yell at me all the time, and this bullshit therapist told him to scream, and he would scream in the basement at night to get rid of his anger, and it really was really scary. And he neglected me. I didn't get the attention I deserved. He never hugged me. He never kissed me. He never told me he loved me. He never showed any affection. Hardly ever touched me. And so I was diagnosed with cancer in the spring of 2006, within my first grade year, and it was after sarcoma. I had a year treatment, and I lost my leg from cancer. And then a couple years after my remission, everything was going well. My parents got remarried after that. My depression, anxiety was hitting. It came, and it started just destroying me. I was going to the hospital in and out, and then I started realizing I was suicidal one day, and then with the first time I went to the hospital, I told my mom, I'm suicidal, I feel like I want to die. It was the first time it really, really hit me, because I was suicidal before then. I was always hated myself and that because of my father not showing me love, so I didn't love myself. And then my dad started verbally abusing me and my mother again. I don't remember the abuse because I had PTSD. The PTSD actually blurs the memories of abuse and any trauma. I won't explain PTSD. I'll have to redo the video on PTSD, but I'll do it again. And we had to leave our home 4 years ago, September, and we had to go to my grandparents for like a long time. And I was getting psychotic. I was hearing things. I was having these attacks, like anxiety attacks out of nowhere, and we didn't know what it was until 2 years when I was in middle school. Middle school was hell for me. They treated me like I was just looking for attention when wasn't looking for attention. I didn't know what was wrong with me, but I was told to tell them all the freaking time that I was suicidal. I was suicidal every single day, and I could feel it was the feeling. I don't know how to explain what suicidal feels like. It just feels like you want to die. That's all you're obsessed with dying. You don't feel like you deserve to live, and I couldn't stop it. But I went to my high school. I switched schools to a different district, and I went to high school. And in November, I finally had enough. I cut myself. With a paring knife. My parents were fighting since they got divorced a couple years ago, and they were fighting. My brother was being bullied. I forget what they were fighting about. But I grabbed the paring knife. I was gonna turn it on my father, but I turned it on myself because I was done feeling worthless, feeling I was done with him. And we stopped seeing him. I started getting really bad again with my PTSD. We realized in January that I had post-traumatic stress disorder from verbal and psychological abuse. My doctor found out, and she contacted my therapist, and I started seeing an EMDR/PTSD therapist, and she saved my butt. The first time I was talking about the abuse, and it was becoming easier. I wasn't always thinking about the abuse, but even though every day I had terrible anxiety about PTSD. And in the summer of 2013, 13, I learned to love myself. I learned that I deserve to live. I deserve to be happy. Because I was never happy, truly happy before, because I hated myself so much and that I did not deserve to live. And I learned to love myself. I just learned to fall in love with myself, learned to take care of myself better, learned to, that you make yourself happy first before you make others happy. And twice in September and October, I was in the hospital. First time it was depression and insomnia, and the second time with anxiety and PTSD stuff. And they had to redo my all meds. And a couple days after I got home, when we moved to a new apartment with my mom, the second time we moved, I finally said enough. I'm not gonna be suicidal anymore. I will no longer live in that shadow. I will no longer let it control me. And to say it hasn't controlled me. I haven't been suicidal. Maybe a little bit, because the PTSD, if you don't know what PTSD is like, it's worse than I think it's worse than having cancer. And being suicidal, it almost destroyed who I was. I may never have tried to commit suicide, but it's just as powerful if you do not commit suicide. You do still have to feeling those feelings that are out to get you. You feel hopeless. You feel insecure. You feel worthless. You feel like you don't deserve to live. You hate yourself. You think you're ugly. There's so much to it, and it had almost destroyed who I was, and then it built me back up. It made me stronger. And it did not take my life away. It gave me life. It breathed it. When I stopped, felt so alive after that. When I finally was able to love myself and not feel suicidal, I felt so alive. And I can't imagine how I was able to get through this all. How I was able to survive. Here's my inspiration to you guys who are suffering from suicidal thoughts and suicide attempts and being anything with suicide. There is life beyond this. There is life beyond what you're feeling. And you don't deserve to die. You don't deserve to hate yourself. You don't deserve to feel ugly. You don't deserve to feel worthless, because you are not. You are not any of that, and you have no idea how much you're worth. No one can take that worth away from you, not even yourself. You are so worthy of everything. You are worth to live, and you need to keep living, because this life is so worth it. It is very, very dark and ugly and evil. I know how dark and evil it is. But there is still good in this world. And there are these terrible things, we can change them. We can change these things in the world that are terrible. Because you don't know how much you're missing out if you commit suicide. You are missing out on so much. You only live once, and if you do it right, you do once is enough. I know how hard it is out there. I know what it feels like. And you cannot give up on this because you feel suicidal. You have to keep living. No one is going to do it for you, but you have to do it. You have to keep going. And you need to remember that you are never alone. There are millions of kids that suffer from suicide, that suffer from eating disorder, depression, anxiety. You are not alone in this. We fight as one. And we help each other. We support each other. Because we can make it out together. Even if it's someone on the internet like me. I love you guys, because you follow me. You're like a family member. Because you're following me and I'm inspiring you. But I know it's terrible, but you gotta keep going. The revolution is now. It's time to stop being suicidal. It's time to start eating again. Time to stop cutting. Time to stop saying I am worthless, I am ugly, and I am not worthy of love. Because you are, and you deserve it. You deserve to follow your recovery and become better. No one else could do it, but you can do it. I know you can do it. You are strong. You are strong, even if you're faking your smile. That makes you strong, because you are faking a smile. Not many people can do that. Most people could burst into tears, and you don't burst into tears. That makes you strong. If you guys liked that video, please like and subscribe. I am a new YouTuber for mental health, and I will do hundreds of videos on mental health, how to love yourself, how to stop being suicidal, videos for eating disorder, PTSD, depression, and anxiety. So if you need help with mental health or anything like that, please follow, and then like that. That really helps out too. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Bye.